Hey there, Rick's Recaps welcomes you to Tintin. The movie unfolds with a young man getting his portrait with his dog Snowy at a market. Tintin is a renowned journalist in the city. While browsing through the market, he stumbles upon a vintage model of a 17th century sea vessel known as the Unicorn. Intrigued, he decides to purchase the ship from the shopkeeper. However, their transaction is interrupted when another man approaches, expressing his interest in buying the ship as well. But as Tintin expresses his denial, the man warns him about the dangers associated with the ship and leaves in a hurry. Before he figures out, another man named Sakharin arrives on the scene, also intent on acquiring the ship. He offers a substantial sum of money in exchange for it, trying to persuade Tintin to sell. However, Tintin refuses to sell the ship and leaves the market. Back at home, he begins to wonder why everyone is looking for this particular ship. He carefully places the ship on a table and starts searching for his magnifying glass for further inspection. Suddenly a stray cat enters his room and Snowy gives chase, but ends up inadvertently knocking the ship off the table, getting it broken into pieces. A small object from the ship rolls onto the table. Although a little sad about his broken ship, Tintin heads to the library with Snowy to gather more information about the ship. There, he starts reading about the Unicorn and learns that its final captain Francis Haddock set sail with the ship but never reached his destination. The vessel was attacked by sea pirates, resulting in the death of everyone on board, except for Francis. Some people believe that he was on the ship to find hidden treasures, but in reality what happened on that ship that day remains a mystery to everyone. Francis had only said before he died that only a true Haddock would unveil this secret. Soon Tintin returns home, only to discover that his ship has been stolen. Suspecting Sakharin's role behind the theft, Tintin sneaks into Sakharin's house with Snowy, where he spots his ship. As he prepares to retrieve it, Sakharin appears on the scene. Tintin tells him that the ship belongs to him and that Sakharin has stolen it. Sakharin challenges him to take a closer look to confirm if the ship truly belongs to Tintin. As he inspects, he realizes it's entirely intact, unlike his ship that had broken due to the fall. As he realizes this ship is the replica of the one he had, Tintin informs him that Francis had made two identical ships, and someone is trying to steal it. Sakharin tells him to leave, and his man escorts Tintin to the door. Tintin returns home and finds his house unlocked, with things scattered inside. Right then, Snowy directs him to something under the table. Tintin finds a thin pen underneath the table, with a piece of paper hidden in it. As he discovers the letters, he figures out that the people trying to steal the ship are actually looking for this piece of paper. Shortly after, the same man who had met him at the market and warned him about the dangers visits his house to share something with Tintin. However, a group of thugs shoots him and quickly flee. Before dying, he marks some letters with his blood in a newspaper to convey his secret message. Tintin immediately rushes to two police officers with the paper. Upon learning the gruesome incident, they reveal he was an Interpol officer on a mission. As he examines the paper, Tintin notices that it contains a series of letters. When rearranged, it spells the word Karabayan. As he inquires, the police officers reassures further investigation and depart. On the way, the two officers encounter a pickpocket and give chase. However, just when they are about to apprehend him, the pickpocket manages to steal Tintin's wallet that contains the secret paper. Before they could do anything, the pickpocket had already made his escape. Hours later, Tintin gets abducted by some criminals from his home, but his loyal dog tails their car to a port where Tintin gets loaded onto a ship. Inside, two people were conducting a search. Just then, Sakharin arrives and questions Tintin about the piece of paper he found on the ship. He had a similar fragment of the paper and was searching for the other one. But Tintin refuses to answer, which provoked them to confine him right there. Luckily, Snowy had managed to board the ship and covertly enters Tintin's room. While Sakharin orders his men to extract information about the paper, Snowy uses his teeth to undo Tintin's ropes. They lock the door from inside and move to another room through the window. There, someone immediately confronts them, launching an attack on Tintin. He thinks Tintin has come to harm him. But Tintin clarifies to him that he didn't come to harm him. The man then reveals that he is the captain of the ship. However, Sakharin had bought off his crew against him. He discloses his name as Haddock. Both of them decide to run away from there. Tintin asks Haddock if he knows of Francis Haddock. Haddock says Francis was his grandfather's name. As Tintin inquires about the secret of the unicorn, Haddock asserts that he is the only one who knows about the unicorn. His grandfather had revealed everything to him before his death. However, after his grandfather's demise, he turned to heavy drinking to cope with his grief, which resulted in him forgetting everything. They inquire if there is anyone in his family who might know these things. He mentions that his grandfather Francis had 3 sons, and among those 3, only one had descendants. Presently he is the last descendants of Haddock family. Tintin now realizes what Sakharin is looking for. In the fragment of the paper, it was written that when the 3 unicorns meet, they will find the treasure. This means that Francis didn't make just 2 but 3 models of the unicorn ship. One has already been taken, one is in his possession, and he is on the quest for the third. Tintin stealthily enters the radio room of the ship and discovers about a place called Bug R. Sakharine has possibly headed there. He also sends a message to both officers through the radio frequency. After that, they escape from the ship using the life-saving boat. As Sakharine is informed of their escape, he orders his men to capture both of them under any circumstances. Tintin informs Haddock that Sakharine is going to Bug R. There, a sheik possesses the model of the third unicorn ship. He tells Haddock to take him there and falls asleep. Meanwhile, the two officers have caught the pickpocket and also found Tintin's wallet. When Tintin awakens, he sees that Haddock has set the boat on fire in his drunken stupor, and the entire boat is destroyed. Haddock says they are in big trouble, and they are about to die soon. Just then, a seaplane appears on the scene. However, this plane belongs to the same people who came to kill them. Tintin takes out his gun and fires at the plane, causing it to crash land. He covertly advances towards the plane and takes over from the goons. With them as captives, Tintin and Haddock soar into the sky. Soon they fly across Sakharine's ship and head for Bug R. As they advance, a fierce storm sent their aircraft crashing into a desolate desert. Stranded and wandering through the unforgiving sands, Haddock's desperate thirst drove him to madness until Tintin intervened to soothe him. Amidst the chaos, Haddock began recounting a family legend, the tale of his grandfather Francis and the ill-fated unicorn ship. In this harrowing story, they were beset by pirates at sea, with Francis valiantly defending his crew who were outnumbered by the pirates and eventually killed. Haddock's narration turned to a menacing figure, the pirate leader named Red Rackham, who appeared to Francis like a devil as he sought the treasure hidden within the unicorn. Overwhelmed by thirst, Haddock briefly faltered in his storytelling, but Tintin persisted, only to have Haddock collapse from dehydration. Fortunately, they were rescued that night by some locals from a nearby village. The next morning Tintin successfully jogged Haddock's memory, and the tale continued. Red Rackham had indeed become their tormentor, imprisoning Francis and seizing the unicorn's treasure. Yet, Francis remained resolute, using gunpowder to blow the entire ship, causing the treasure to plunge into the ocean's depths. Nevertheless, he managed to save a portion of the treasure within his hat. Sakharine turns out to be the descendant of Red Rackham, explaining his relentless pursuit of Haddock to get his hands on the treasure. As Tintin and Haddock arrive in Bug R, they unexpectedly encounter the two officers who had retrieved Tintin's wallet, remarkably finding the piece of paper inside still intact. Their visit coincided with a grand event at Sheik's palace featuring a captivating performance by a singer, accompanied by the enigmatic Sakharine who is looking the third model of the unicorn. Presently, a bulletproof glass encases this valuable artifact. The singer lets out an astonishingly high pitch that shatters all the glasses around, including the protective casing. Seizing the opportunity, Sakharine sends his eagle to retrieve the paper, cunningly diverting attention towards Tintin and accusing him of theft. Sakharine makes a swift escape in a car with those papers. Tintin and Haddock pursue him on a motorcycle, with Tintin retrieving the paper from Sakharine's grasp. However, a mishap caused Haddock to fall, losing the paper to Sakharine's eagle. While Tintin manages to catch up to the eagle, Snowy and Haddock end up in Sakharine's custody. Sakharine asks Tintin to hand over the paper for their life. As Sakharine releases them into the water, Tintin dives in to save his friends, setting the eagle free. He decides to inform the Interpol about the ship's radio frequency to track down Sakharine. Soon the ship docks at a port. As Sakharine prepares to depart in car, Haddock hoists his car with a crane. While the Interpol personnel watch from the ground, Sakharine manages to get rid of the car. Sakharine immediately retaliates at Haddock from a separate crane, throwing Haddock out of the crane. To end this, he attempts to burn the papers that lead to the treasure-loaded unicorn. However, Tintin arrives just in time, wresting the papers from Sakharine's grasp, leading to the Sakharine's subsequent arrest by Interpol police. The three pieces of the puzzle will now lead Haddock to the hidden location of the unicorn's treasure. They come to Sir Francis's old mansion, a place where Captain Haddock had spent his childhood. At the basement was a hidden chamber behind a thick wall. Inside, they stumble upon a globe that had kept the treasure stashed in Sir Francis's hat. As the two adventurers express the unbound joy, Tintin reveals another clue on one of the recovered papers, hinting at the existence of 400 kilograms of gold that was being carried by Unicorn. The movie ends as they agree upon a new adventure.